Hello everyone and welcome to Ants USA. Today we are going to be talking about my current Camponuts colony. If you guys have been watching my videos, you knew a couple days ago I moved them into my setup here, my outworld and my nest over here. But you'll notice that there are no ants inside of here, and so what's the deal with that? So I've had quite the eventful week with this colony, and this is going to be a good lesson to anyone who has a queen and wants to move them into their nest on how they should do it and how shouldn't they. So this is the order of how things went down, and through watching this video you'll learn how you should move your colony in and when you should move the colony in. So if you guys watched my last video, you saw that I connected this tube, which was longer before, to the test tube, and then I anticipated that they would move in. So pretty quickly, the queen decided to bolt right in. None of the workers really followed her, but the queen was in there, and so that made me a little bit worried. So what I did was I unattached it, I reattached it to the outworld, and I just put them in the outworld. They still didn't really leave. I left it for like that for a day with this light on them. They still didn't really leave, and so I dumped them out, which many people online were telling me to do. And I did that, and it worked kind of fine. They scrambled. They eventually moved in. Well, basically what happened, they split up into 3 factions. So some of them I couldn't get out of the test tube. So what I did was I connected it here to the Formicarium, so that way they could move in when they're ready. Some of them weren't moved into the tube, and some of them moved in with the queen, okay? Keep in mind, I had this heated, and this was hydrated, and this was shining on all the rest of it. So, the optimal situation was for them going in here. Pretty quickly, everyone in all the workers in the tube and all the brood in the tube moved in with the queen. There were still some guys in here, though. So, yeah, that was fine. It was going fine for a little while. Then the next day I woke up, and they had all moved into the test tube, and it wasn't really a problem, except workers were dying. So I had one worker die the day before. I thought it was because of moving her out of the test tube when I shook it, and then the next day I found one more dead over here and 2 dead in the honey I put out for them, which is lesson number 1. This much honey is too much honey. Okay, for a small colony like that, they can't eat it all that quick. They fall in and they drowned. Okay, but I had 2 unexplained worker deaths. And I was wondering what was up with that. I had fed them a meal, or a super worm, a giant mealworm, excuse me, and then the honey, right? We had a few concerns. The baby powder wasn't 100% talcum powder. It was 81% talcum powder and 19% zinc oxide. And some people were worried about that. They were also worried that the Formicarium, the grout, might still be releasing fumes, and that might be what's hurting them. But we pretty quickly figured out, after talking with some people in the global ant chat, that the specific brand of giant mealworms I bought, they hormonally they give them hormones to keep them from turning into beetles and getting huge, and it makes them huge, and that's harmful to ants. So that's what was killing them. You can see I have 3 dead bodies in there, and I have 1 that I already put outside. So yeah, that was kind of upsetting. So the colony was in danger, but I decided to leave him in there. I took the giant mealworm out. Then the next day I woke up. The queen had been kind of acting weird. She was all by herself. She wasn't moving a whole lot. But the next day I woke up, she was sitting in the middle of the outworld, curled up. And if any of you guys don't know, curled up means the ant is dead, or almost dead. Okay. So I was pretty sad. But you know, I did see her move a little bit, so I knew she wasn't entirely dead. She was about to die. If I had to bet, the workers probably had no idea. They hadn't left for the tube forever, probably because the workers were dying. They didn't have a whole lot to hold down the fort, so they probably had no idea that the queen was dying. So what I did, from what people on Global and in my Washington State chat told me to do, I moved them into a test tube together. I put them in my closet over there, and I'm heating them up, and I've left them, basically, for about 3 days now. And the good news is that the queen is not dead, at least not yet, and the colony seems to be doing okay. I'm going to feed them today. I would do it on camera, but I'm really trying to keep the stress level down, and me trying to multitask by talking to you and feeding them is just not optimal. They're probably really not doing great, so I'm gonna try and keep the situation as effortless as possible for them. But yeah, so lesson number 2, don't buy giant mealworms and feed it to your ant colony, because it will kill them, okay? Lesson number 3, the colony was way too small to move into this nest. I should have known it. I really did. I was just kind of impatient. I wanted to move them in. At 12 workers, it was just too early. I would wait more until 20. Maybe, actually, I wouldn't. You should wait until you're at like at least 20 workers for a Camponuts colony. For others, probably even more, depending on the size of it. And this is a big formicarium to start them off in. So I really should have anticipated that. I changed out their test tube so it didn't have any mold in it. I would try and make sure you do that as much as possible. This is their old test tube. You can see it's got a decent amount of mold in it. And yeah. Yeah, so sorry this doesn't have a whole lot of tutorial in it. Just kind of wanted to give an update because it was been an eventful week. I did catch another queen. I got a oh shoot, what was it? I can bring it out. I'll bring that queen out. 1 second, guys. I have Alright, let's see, where is she? There she is. Okay, so she's got a decent amount of brood, actually a lot of brood. I've only had her for about 3 or 4 days now. She's got a lot of brood. I've just been keeping her in the dark. Haven't been looking at her a whole lot because I've been distracted by my Camponuts colony, which is probably best for her. You guys can see she's got some water. She's very small for a queen. Because she is a, I'm sorry guys, I'm blanking the name. I will put it in the description or see if I can do one of those iCard things above. But yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions about my adventures with moving my colony in. Or email me, or please join one of the Discords that I'm in. I'm in the global Discord and the Washington State Discord, which I'll put in the description. Even if you're not from Washington State, please feel free to join. Yeah, like it if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Thanks guys, see you next time.